So I see so much that people are creating a brand out of themselves. They are selling themselves. And I feel like this is a reasonable automatic response. It is a survival response. We are currently in a system of not being able to hardly afford ourselves, even when we budget. And budgeting helps, budgeting's good, but we also need livable wages. And right now, even people who used to have a livable wage are not able to live on that wage anymore. Part of it is housing. Housing costs are just skyrocketing continuously. It's hyperinflated. But even besides that, wages haven't gone up and prices have. That is a very important aspect to what's going on here, but it is a side thing because part of the whole, we're seeing more and more influencers, more and more content creators, more and more people putting themselves out there, is the move to a digital space. And instead of having our profitability coming from creating physical products, we are starting to have more and more, not just opportunity, but necessity to turn ourselves into a marketable resource. Because where we are selling ourselves is online. And a natural repercussion of that is that what we can do with our hands, what kind of manual labor we can do, physical labor we can do, is only useful to corporations. To everyday average people as a resource, if we're not doing something online, we're not really doing very much. There are service industry jobs still, but you're not going to be able to live off of that. Most people have moved seeking services and goods online. It's a negative thing in some ways because you feel forced to sell yourself. You feel forced to hustle. You feel forced to make something more of yourself and brand yourself and create a false identity for yourself, Photoshop yourself. But on the other hand, you don't want to be trapped into indentured servitude to a corporation for the rest of your life. And so you don't really have that great of options because there's no affordability to afford to pick whichever options you want. And so you're left with two not that great options. People, I feel like, as the internet continues to grow and expand, technology advances forward, are going to further and further make themselves into a resource. And it's less going to be about physical objects, and it's more and more going to become, well, here's your value as a person. And your value as a person should be an internal thing, and it should be easily recognizable to the people that you allow close to you and have positive relationships with. But instead, your value as a person is becoming a very judgeable thing. And it's not just even in dating, although you can go to any dating app and see it, but even on things like LinkedIn or Indeed or, putting in applications for jobs, you have to go through how many interviews? You have to sell yourself. You have to pour unpaid hours into convincing someone that you, the person, have enough value that you should get paid. You go to start streaming or creating content, courses, whatever it is. You've got to convince people that you, the person, are of value. What you can do, lots of people can do it. It's highly congested. So what's making you so special? And a lot of people find ways to fake that. But it's not because they're necessarily bad or they're liars or they're trying to perpetuate something bad in the system. It's that the system is flawed and they're trying to exist in the system. So just be aware that when you start selling yourself and you're trying to network, but it's online and you're just spreading your social media presence everywhere you can, you're like a dog peeing on every tree. You need to get yourself out there and spread out there and advertise yourself and be on every kind of social media platform. It's stressful. It's a lot. Wearing a mask for people so that they'll be more accepting of you is never fun or comfortable. But it's also survival mode. I don't want people to feel like lost. It seems like a lot of people are really struggling to find their identity in this really changing climate and world and technology, and even how we sell ourselves, and even how we create value for profit. You can monetize yourself and have integrity, but it might be a little harder, and you might not be able to pour yourself into everything. That's okay too. Just try not to lose your identity while you're trying to survive, because losing yourself is terrible. Don't forget to invest in yourself while you're trying to convince other people to invest in you. You matter.